Hi guys, welcome back to another Pieandbelle art class. If you'd like to come to our regular classes, please check my bio for my email and my phone number to get in contact. The class we're doing today is looking at oil pastels. We're using Cray-Pass Expressionist oil pastels, a 25 pack, and we're going to be doing this candle. So the first thing you want to do is to try and look at anything that's really bright white, because obviously we are going to be going light to dark with this. We can come back and forth, but once you get that dark black in there or dark browns in there, you will find that it's very hard to keep those bright colours. So the best thing to do is work from the top down. And what you want to do is, because we've only got a 25 pack, you can get larger packs of Cray-Pass pastels, but you can mix the colours as you're going, as long as you have a paper stump like the one I've got there. And what you're going to do is kind of add your colours and mix them about. Now you can see on top of that orangey colour, I did put that kind of pale browny colour that you get in the pack. And the reason I did that is because it does dirty up that colour a bit. So if you've got a colour that's not quite as vibrant, and I've done the same with that kind of light area at the top, I've added a peach below the yellow. And the reason for that is I don't want it to be vibrant. I don't want it to be vibrant yellow at the top. I don't want it to be vibrant orange as we're going down. And the first thing I'm going to do is create all the shapes I see before softening them out. So I'm going to just put them in really, really boldly. Any little circles or kind of weird squiggles I'm going to put in with whatever colour I can think that is the closest. So the way we work with pastels is you put in the colour that you think is the closest to that colour first, and it doesn't really matter, you can choose out of two. So say with that red area there, I could have used red, I could have used orange, I could have even used brown, and adapt the colour with the other colours to make it look more like what you want it to be. So you put in your base colour and then you adapt it using the other colours, and you use your paper stump to kind of push them all together. So now you can see I'm going to soften up that whole area at the top, because there's a much more soft focus kind of thing going on there, except maybe that little kind of point there to the right, which is actually a little bit more vibrant, so I've left that in. But most of it is quite kind of soft. And you can see I'm cooling down that red by adding some purple, but I'm also adding red back over the top of the purple because I want the base to be red, but I can cool down that red by adding a bit of purple in it. And really it's all about just adding whatever colour you see. Even if you think I only see a hint of that, I only see a hint of pink or peach or anything, put it in and smooth it in, even if you have to readapt it back. So if you put a little hint of kind of, orange in or brown in and you think it's too much, put the red back over the top. It will all help. The layering process of oil pastels is probably the most important thing. So now you can see I'm making the negative shapes of the drips coming down. So I'm using the brown to make the negative of the drips, and then I'm just going to smooth them all in. Now the thing with oil pastels is you have that first layer where you're pushing it into the paper and you're really using the stump really hard because you have to get it into the grain of the paper. And the second layer you could use the stump with the point of the stump very softly, and the third layer is like basically just touching it to join it into the picture. So there is quite a few different ways of using the stump. And also there is touching it with your finger being the last way of using it. Your finger will literally just soften it into the other parts without like pushing it into the paper hardly at all. Your finger is probably the softest way of doing it. So you can see now I'm just putting a kind of background in. You could fill in the whole page with the black, but really I just wanted to give you an idea of how we would go by forming it. I'm not really bothered about the edges of it at the moment. And I'm going to get those kind of shines of the kind of the glow of the candle. Now when you're doing this you have to kind of spend a bit of time because it's a lot of back and forth. You're pulling the black into that colour, but you want the colour to still be there, so you might have to go back and forth and add it. And the red line I've put in just right next to the candle, you want to try and leave just a little tiny dot of that in if you can, so that you just have a thin red line and then the orange glow around it. And I'm doing the other side in exactly the same manner. I'm using my stump to get the colour exactly where I want it, because it's actually a lot easier to control it with the stump than it is to control it with the pastel, because obviously it's clunky and like a crayon. So definitely you want to be using your stump to kind of push it in the right place. And you can see it takes a bit of work. That first layer where you're trying to push it into the paper, You know, you get that grain of the paper through, which is good because you want a quite thick, heavy duty paper. But that getting that kind of colour to go into the paper is probably the hardest bit. You will need a little bit of elbow grease to push that in. And I sometimes use the diagonal part instead of the point of the stump, because obviously you can do larger areas like that. And you can see there I'm putting, I think I've put peach, purple, blue, yellow, white, loads of colours in that flame, and red round the outside of it, and orange. And now I'm just tidying up that edge, and I'm bringing that black into, that's the last thing I'm going to bring into the base of that candle, just to darken up that bottom area. And just tidying up little bits, trying to get rid of some of that kind of area around the edge. And now just adding those last little white touches, and that's our finished piece. I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. Quite a quick one this week, but oil pastels are a lot faster than watercolour anyway. Thanks very much. Bye.